ESPN UK had put out a tweet. What was the most stressful game out of the games that was in the list that they had? They monitored people's heart rates while they were playing the game for to see what was the most stressful. Which leads to the question: in your opinion, your most stressful game that you played, fighting game or regular game? What is the most stressful game for you guys? Guys, I don't know what my English at today. So please take it, Devin. Please take it away.
Man, that's a good question. I want to say I know my answer for fighting game for sure. I don't know. I think fighting game, I'm gonna say probably Marvel 3. Even though that's one of my favorite fighting games, I mean Marvel 3 could get quite stressful. I mean you could literally just die in the blink of an eye. Like certain pressure, you got Magneto doing a tap dance in the air on your head. It's so much stuff you gotta watch out for. But I think if I want to say overall, I got to go back to Devil May Cry 3. Devil May Cry 3 probably one of the most stressful games I played because of there was a little mode called Dante Must Die mode, I think. And once you beat the harder difficulties, there was this mission. I think 18 or 19 is a chessboard you got to beat, right? And it was impossible. Like I had like 40 hours in that game, and I think I tried at least 100 times to beat that level, and I couldn't do it. And I just said, you know what, it just ain't for me, man. I mean, I've bested games like Ninja Gaiden Black on the original Xbox. If anybody know about that game, that's a hard game. That game, gamer. Like that made me a gamer. Like that, I was like, yo, I'm beating this game. Like, and that was a great game. Shout outs to the original Xbox, Ninja Gaiden Black. But Devil May Cry 3, I was just like, forget it. And it's crazy that the last boss, Virgil, people go, he's hard. Like, no, he's easier than this chessboard. You had to like beat him in like a certain order. The queen come out of nowhere screaming, ah! She replaced herself with the king. It's just stressful, man. It's too much stress. So I'm gonna give my stressful game to Devil May Cry 3, man. Get out of here. Mission 18 or whatever, get out of here, man.
I would say the most stressful game that I've ever played, fighting game wise, would be. You know what? I would probably say Street Fighter V. I think is the most stressful fighting game I've played. I think for me sometimes it's just like. I like for me it's stressful because I don't like my brain just doesn't work that way. The way like it's like the way like linkers work and stuff like that. It completely escapes me sometimes. Like I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't get it. And everybody else just seems to know what they're doing all the time and just like, oh yeah, man, it's a link. You do this and this and that. I'm like, what are you doing? I don't understand. And it's like, oh, I lost the match. Okay, so there you go. But as far as action games outside of fighting games, I would say the most stressful game to me is League of Legends, man. That game is pretty stressful. There's a million different characters in that game. You got to know a bunch of the matchups. You got to know all these different items. You got to know how to last hit the enemies, the minions in the lane. You got to make sure that you're watching the map all the time. You got to make sure there's nobody like trying to gank you, trying to run up behind you and kill you. And then even if you do, you got to be watching what kind of items the enemies are making, because they might be making like the kind of armor that kills that destroys your kind of damage. So then you got to make the counters to that. So then they're trying to make counters to your counters. And it's like, the whole time you're like, oh man, I got to make sure that I'm not being attacked from behind. I got to be watching the map to make sure my friends aren't getting killed up in lane. And then it's like, oh man, run over to Baron. No, run over to Dragon. Oh, why didn't you do that? You were out of position. It's like, oh man, it's like, and then of course, if you're not playing with your friends, man, you're in a match with a bunch of randoms who are all toxic, and they tell you they're gonna report you because you suck at the game, and it's like, it's like, oh, what? You're throwing the game. I'm not throwing the game. I'm trying to learn how to play. I'm reporting you. What? Come on, man. Like, yo, like they have no patience for that, man. It's stressful, bro. Because like if you die in lane, that the enemy is now a level higher than you, and now the game just got tougher. The game is now more hard for you. Now what do? Well, all you got to do, you got to stand behind your minions and basically run away for another couple minutes and wait for your chance. But what if I don't get a chance? I don't know what to tell you, bro. Ask for a gank. What if I don't get a gank? What if I get ganked? Yeah, man. Play defensively, farm under your tower, and pray to God. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like that game is pretty stressful. It's pretty stressful because you got to know all these different matchups. You got to know what the items do. You got to remember to look for all these different things all the time. Like they're saying, look at the map every 3 seconds. Look at the map every 3 seconds. So you're looking at you're looking at your thing where your act character is, and you got to look at the map every 3 seconds to make sure that something isn't running up behind you. Like, so that's what happens. You're running up in lane and you're like, I'm killing this guy. He's like, oh God, no. Oh God, I'm running. Don't kill me, please. And you're like, yeah, man, I'm finally going to kill this guy. And then everybody's like, meanwhile, everybody's pinging danger, 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 danger. And you're like, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden this big dude, like with like a gigantic arms just come like, and just destroys you from behind because you just got ganked, bro. You didn't put any wards down. You had no vision in jungle, bro. What's wrong with you? You got tunnel vision. And now you're dead. And now that guy who you were fighting that was pretending to run away, because he pretended to run away so his buddy could come up and destroy you from behind, now that guy is 2 levels higher than you, and now you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble. And everybody on your team hates you now. Everybody on your team hates you, including you. You hate you too, because you're like, I shouldn't have gotten ganked. So I'm like...
And now you got reported.
Yeah, Andrew reported because you're a toxic you're a toxic jerk who gets ganked in lane.
Can you imagine that being on a team game and somebody just reporting you because you just lost? Like
he got killed. Report him immediately.
I can't take a L. I got to get reported for just losing.
Bro,
y'all don't lose. Y'all got all
Nope. You can man, you get reported for losing. Can I lose? No, not in league. You're not supposed to lose, bro. You're supposed to survive at all times. Yo, get immediately reported. Yo, you get lost because you're a bad warrior. You didn't ward the jungle. You didn't kill enough minions. You weren't watching your map. It's like all of these different things just come together to formulate one simple fact in the game. You are terrible and you don't deserve to play. So I would say, yeah, League of Legends is my most stressful game.
Oh my God. I'm so glad for this subjective topic. It's not even funny. All right. So I would say I'll mention my fighting game last, but I'll start with an honorable mention for a regular game that is just stressful. It was the Resident Evil. So, quick story. Me and my brother are chilling. We're in the dining area. We're playing Resident Evil. You remember back in the days on those 50-inch projection screen TVs and the old surround sound setups in the crib that, when your dad thought he was balling and had money, he would set up. So, we late at night, we playing Resident Evil. And it's that one avenue, one part of the game where you're walking down the hallway and the dogs burst through the window. The dead dogs burst through the window and start chasing you. Fam, I ain't never shut off a game so fast in my life. We were like, oh, that's it. I've never played Resident Evil again until 5. And I never beaten them. That shook me so bad. We just immediately went to start playing something else. We're like, nah, that's a wrap. Okay, so that's stressful for me. The 2 other ones that are neck and neck are Mario Kart, like you mentioned, and GoldenEye. Yo, fam, it ain't nothing like being about 10 meters from winning and they shrink you and then run over you, bro. Yo, that is stuff that we used to... friendships, the family was tested. Everything was... people would get up the next day and not even get breakfast anymore. We weren't brothers anymore. We weren't. You invited your friends over. You did that. You did that in front of a company, bro. Don't even talk to me for like a week and a half, bro. You kidding me? And then that little odd job in GoldenEye, you couldn't shoot him, but he could shoot you. Oh, I think those games brought on the most stress because I have such a deep memory and nostalgia about thinking back about those games. As for my fighting game that's most stressful right now, I have a few, but the first one that came to me for this conversation was Third Strike. I think Third Strike was my most stressful conversation because I need a conversation. The game that I played for this conversation because you never knew when to hit a button, when not to hit a button. If you stood still too long, you could get thrown. You know, Kara throw was a thing. Chun-Li was like getting beat by Hugo was crazy to me because it was literally playing Tekken with a character. He could go mid, low, overhead, or grab. And if you tried to parry and got grabbed, your life was over. You know what I mean? Because it reset him into a good situation. So for me, I remember Street Fighter being one of the most, and option selects in that game just made it terrible. Can you imagine you want to win somebody and chip them out, and then they red parry you into a combo that kills you? Do you know what that feels like? It's demoralizing. And he's like, I got this. One more chip death, and he goes, boop, and parries it, and you die. You know what I mean? So, like, I thought for me, the first thing I think of is Third Strike, and I'll leave, and those are my reasons why.
After doing some thinking, 2 games that were stressful. Alien Isolation was one of the. Like, I play hard games. I don't no problem, but that was one game that I just couldn't play. Like they made the feel of that game like you were actually getting chased by the alien. But I think what might be the most stressful was Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies, because at the time my girlfriend, we used to play online, and one time she literally got mad at me because I couldn't revive her, and I'm like, "It's too much stress, man. Like this game is breaking into my personal life." Like she literally got mad at me, like in real life, because I couldn't, because it was a flood of zombies and I couldn't come revive her, and she would not talk to me. I'm like, is this what we doing? So that might be my answer. Because I'm like, this game is not about to like
mess up your personal relations time.
Yeah, I'm like, there was 100 zombies. I couldn't get to you, honey. And she just said nothing. Like, I don't care.
You on the couch, playboy.
Okay, all right. So that might be my answer. I'm changing mine, man.